out, and I mentioned public funding, but at the end of the day, the bulk of our funding is philanthropic, and so I would encourage your listeners to look at an organization like Father Joe's Villages, who is effective in what it's doing, that helps those not only who are on the streets, but the community at large.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune. We are back with our friends from the San Dieguito River Valley Conservancy and the Southwestern Field Herping Association. Trish Boaz, Executive Director of the Conservancy, joined by her colleague Ana Lutz, the Education Manager, and Jeff Nordland, Herpetologist for the Herping Association. Before we get to Jeff, who's going to debunk some myths on rattlesnakes and baby rattlesnakes, Trish, talk about some of those very cool events that you do.
Oh, well, we have events that bring the people in that want to volunteer and pull weeds, plant new plants. We have a new pollinator garden thanks to our volunteers that have joined us over the past few weekends. We also have opportunities to recreate, and we have a full moon hike coming up. We have a trails and ales where you go on a hike and then we go to a local brewery afterwards. We have wonderful events for people that have different interests. We have something for everybody.
Right, exactly. And you do them throughout the year, spread them out throughout the year, is that correct?
We spread them out throughout the year. We try not to do hikes in the summer months because
too hot?
It's too hot.
Okay.
It's too hot. But we have a great event. It's an annual event, and it's an annual year-long event. Does that make sense?
It does.
But it's called the C2C, the letter C, 2C, for Coast to Crest Trail Challenge. And there's 5 different hikes that people do, and there's a selfie spot. They take a selfie. They send all 5 of them into me when they're done, and we send them a certificate of accomplishment.
Nice.
And they get an REI coupon. REI sponsors it for us. And it's a great way for people to explore new places they haven't been. Get off the, heavily used trails and discover some of the amazing trails we have in the San Dieguito River Valley.
Right. Now, are those on the website?
They are on the website. Go on our website. Oh, we also have a community survey. Sorry, shout out to our community survey.
Please.
So you can tell us what other programs you want. But you can definitely find out more information about the Coast to Crest Trail Challenge on our website, and you have till June 30th to finish all 5 hikes.
Yeah, and before we get over to Jeff here, I do want to shout out, and Trish, I think it's part of your nature too, and I'm sure you as well, Anna. The Conservancy is not one of these folks that like to work in a silo. You guys love to work with Living Coast Discovery Center, our friends down in South County, and Echo Life and so forth. I think we've had a bunch of those folks that are on our show, and I think I owe a phone call to one of your colleagues as well that you sent some information on. But that makes sense, whether it's an environmental organization, whether it's an educational organization, whether it's a youth organization. The days of working in silos is a sure way to get your business out of business. You all need to work collaboratively, so congratulations on that. Jeff, at break, we were chatting a little bit about the reptiles and all that business, and I've been fortunate enough to live right in the Park Village area by Penasquitas Canyon, which you're very familiar with. And we're talking about bobcats and snakes and mountain lions and all that business. But I'd asked you to think about something that you can debunk a myth with. And you took 1 second to come up with, this is a myth we need to debunk. And what is that?
The most common myth that I hear at almost every educational presentation that I give to the general public is, the baby rattlesnakes are the most dangerous. You have to watch out for the baby rattlesnakes. I don't know exactly how it started, but
it's an urban myth.
The myth goes that the baby rattlesnakes don't know how to control their venom, and when they bite you, they give you all their venom. So in that sense, they're more dangerous because a large rattlesnake can control its venom when it bites you and maybe only give you a little bit. And there is a little grain of truth there, but overall, it's really not true at all. The larger rattlesnakes are much more dangerous. They have longer strike range, bigger fangs, and much, much more venom. So even if they only give you half of the venom from one of their fangs, it's probably double the amount that a baby rattlesnake would have.
Right. So now you're hiking or you're in your backyard and you're sunning and drinking a beer or whatever, and all of a sudden a monster rattlesnake is against your fence over there. Besides, panicking on doing something stupid, what should you do? Besides give you a call.
Oh, yeah, you can try to get me by text. I wouldn't call. Get me by text. But the animal control, the San Diego County Animal Control has qualified people that will come out and remove it. It might take an hour or two for them to get there, in which case you want to keep an eye on the snake. What you don't want to do is to start harassing it, throwing rocks at it, or hitting it with a stick or something like that. That's going to agitate it.
Trying to remove it with a shovel.
Yeah, shovel. Don't cut its head off. A lot of people will take a shovel to the snake's head. It's totally unnecessary. The snakes are there because they're looking for rodents. They're eating the rodents, and they're helping keep the rodent population in balance. So
right.
You can call animal control. Keep your eye on the snakes. They're going to crawl away into the shade usually. If it's a sunny day, they're not going to sit in the sun for very long.
Right.
And if you really wanted to remove it, if you're confident, if you have a little bit of experience, you can use a long-handled rake and a big 50-gallon trash bin and pick it up with the rake slowly and put it into the trash bin and put a lid on it, wait for the animal control, or you can release it in the environment behind your house or behind the neighborhood.
Right.
It's best to keep it within 300 to 500 yards. If you move the snake too far, it's likely going to get lost and start roaming around and might get eaten by a hawk or run over by a car.
Right.
So if you like wildlife and you want to help the animals in your neighborhood, just move the snake a short ways away. 300 yards is what I usually do. Maybe 500 at the most.
It's interesting because a lot has been written in our paper, the Union Tribune, about the snake encounters and so forth. But there are very few snake bites, are there not? Am I wrong on that?
There are very few what we call natural snake bites, where someone is out in the field, out hiking around, and they accidentally step on a rattlesnake and it bites them on the foot or the ankle.
Right.
The vast majority of rattlesnake bites are young, macho guys. Usually they're drunk, and they grab the snake. They're trying to show off. They want to hold it by the neck and show their buddies, oh, look what I got. And they get bit on the arms and the hands. And I think last year, or the last couple of years, there were a couple of snake bites that I heard about that were natural snake bites in Torrey Pines State Reserve, for example.
Sure.
And there was a fatal snake bite about 10 years ago up in the Boulder Creek area, the Three Sisters waterfall hike. The main thing you do if you do get bit by a rattlesnake is
do not suck it out.
Don't use a snake bite kit that has a suction cup
because that's how we learned how to do it.
Just call 911 right away. The only thing that's really going to help you is anti-venom.
Right.
Alcohol's not going to help. You don't want to take aspirin.
Because that'll just exacerbate the situation.
Thin your blood a little bit and make it worse. The best thing is to get some rest, try to stay calm, get the anti-venom. If you get anti-venom within an hour or two, you probably will have no permanent scarring or minimal permanent scarring. If you don't get the treatment, you might lose part of your finger or part of your leg. You get tissue damage.
Have you been bitten?
I've never been bitten.
Right, exactly, because you know what you're doing.
I wear protective gear all the times, and the main thing is watch where you put your hands and feet.
Right.
If you stay on an open trail, you'll be safe. As soon as you get off the trail into the grass, then your risk goes way up.
Right. Now, is that on your website?
Oh yeah, we have all kinds of rattlesnake safety information on the Southwest Field Herp website.
Okay, yeah. So I encourage people to do that. We're chatting with Jeff Nordland, a herpetologist for the Southwestern Field Herping Association. I think that was very informative there, joined by Trish Boaz and Ana Lutz from the San Diego River Valley Conservancy. Since we're talking about rattlesnakes, I'll ask, have you been bitten by one, Trish?
I've never been bitten by a rattlesnake.
Have you seen a rattlesnake?
I have. Hiking in Yosemite with my mom, Dolores, we came upon a rattlesnake, and she went almost right up to I'll never forget this. She went up to the rattlesnake to get a picture of it, the old-fashioned Polaroid cameras, and I still have a picture of it. I'll have to show you. But she's a very brave woman. I never would have done that, and I cringe when I think about that now.
Well, how about you, Anna?
I have. I was actually out with a small group of Girl Scouts. They were younger Girl Scouts. And something that I do, and everyone who's involved with the Conservancy, is that before we go hiking, we always preface the hikes with a couple safety rules, like stay on trail, make sure you have water. But then we also go over brief rattlesnake safety. And good thing we went over that, because we were in Del Mar and a very popular trail. We were about to go right under I-5, and it was a really large rattlesnake. I would say probably 3 to 4 feet, and it was the thickness of my forearm. But, just like Jeff said, as we left it, we let it be. You don't want to kick dirt at it, throw stones, sticks. It just wanted to get away from us. So we just gave it its space, and we were lucky that we were on a very wide trail and that we had talked about what to do in that instance, that we alerted everyone in the group, and we just stayed still and assessed the situation and stay calm.
Right. Did it slither away?
It did, yeah.
But if it didn't, what would you have done?
Usually wait it out, which some people, I understand, they want to get on their way and they want to hike, but usually 10 to 15 minutes. Right. But if it doesn't, again, I try not to disturb it. Sure. We're in their habitat. Right. So as long as, depending on who you're with, either turn back, and if you can't and you're on your way back already, you can go a little bit off trail. But like Jeff said, you want to make sure you're watching where you're putting your feet and stuff, that you're not stepping into any poisonous plants like, stuff like that.
Right. So, Trish, one more time, shout out the website.
sdrvc.org.
Okay, for events and volunteer opportunities, and you too, Jeff, shout out your website.
Oh, it's southwestfieldherp.com, swfieldherp.com.
Well, listen, maybe next time we'll bring a snake into the studio. How's that sound over here?
Oh, I love it.
Okay, I knew Jeff was going to say that. Trish, Ana, and Jeff, thank you so much for coming in. We'll look forward to having you back on sooner than later.
Thank you, Drew. Great to be here.
Always appreciate it. I'm Drew Schlossberg. You've been listening to the Community Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio.
Thank you for listening to a podcast from Cloudcast Media, the digital media home for leading local brands. When it comes to amplifying your brand, a Cloudcast-sponsored show offers unbeatable value. Learn more at cloudcast.us.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180, the 3-minute lightning round with changemakers here in San Diego. We're here with Ed Heiner, 20-year Navy SEAL, best-selling author, and education entrepreneur. Ed, welcome to the Cloudcast 180.
Thanks for having me.
Your book was called First Fast Fearless, so let's hit this fast and fearlessly. Real quick, you created a program to help change lives of high school students around the country. It's called Sealpreneurship. Tell our audience what it's all about.
Well, it's about leading yourself. Getting a PhD in me, I teach kids how to take care of themselves and lead themselves first, and how to be their own entrepreneur, intrapreneur, if you will.
Is it something you think public education is lacking, this concept of self-leadership?
Absolutely. It's a mindset that kids don't get. My son doesn't get in his school. The kids don't get it. It's something that, we're educating them, but to be mentally tough and be able to take charge of themselves and accountable for themselves is very unique.
Okay. I've seen an overview of your curriculum, 23 evolutions, and you have a 23-minute podcast series. So what's up with 23?
Chromosomes, right? It's all in all of us. We're all the same. 99.9% of everybody in this world is the same. And we use those chromosomes, 23 pairs, which was one of the concepts we teach as swim buddies, never be alone. Mm-hmm. Always work with someone else, collaborate, and be out there.
Boy, that's a lesson for life for sure. Ed, you were in charge of basic and advanced training for the U.S. Navy SEALs, and I mentioned you're a 20-year SEAL. Tell our audience the greatest lesson from the SEALs that have changed you forever.
Probably in the back of a helicopter one night in Iraq before I was getting ready to fly into an Al-Qaeda target, it dawned on me that when a pilot said, you have this many souls on board, it dawned on me that the opposite of fear is love. It's not else. I don't fight for what I hate in front of me. I fight for what's beside me, behind me, that I love.
Wow, it's a powerful concept. Wow. You've talked a lot about the blue-collar scholar as a concept. Fascinating. Tell our audience, what is the blue-collar scholar as it relates to your Sealpreneurship program?
It's a mental concept where people take control. Don't outsource their life. Look, we're going to have people that are in white coats, suits and ties, doctors, PhDs. That's fine. Listen to that and learn your information from them. But eventually, you got to be that mechanic in your own life. You got to turn the wrench. This is happening. So basically, take control of your own life. Use what you can use from other people. Discard it, what you can't, and make that your own. Leadership is something that you do. It's you do with people, not to them. And one of the best forms of leadership I learned in the back of that helicopter is called mom.
Ed,
focus
thanks.
on mission, others, and me.
Mission, others, me. Ed, thank you for being here. This has been the Cloudcast 180. We hit it fast and fearlessly. We're out.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.